In the following questions, we're asked to evaluate the function. Well, evaluate is a really nice word, but all that it means is to plug in. And there's my sorry picture of a plug, but that's what I mean, plug in. So, in this first example, number 7, it says find f of negative 3 when f of x equals 8x plus 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this negative 3 right here, and what we're going to do with it is we're going to plug it in to the function wherever we have an x. So the only place I see an x is right there. Okay, so then that makes it very simple for us. Once I do that, all I have to do is plug in my negative 3. Okay, 8 times negative 3 plus 2. So it's a simple order of operations problem. 8 times negative 3, negative 24 plus 2, which is what? Negative 22. So there's my answer there. That's the answer for that problem. Okay, now I'm going to make a little side note here. Alright, so what if they had asked us to find f of a? Okay, just so you know, because you may see an example like this later. What if they wanted f of a? Well, that's simple. You just plug in a wherever you have an x, and you would write 8a plus 2, and that would be your answer there. Okay, so you may see an example like this a bit later in your class assignment or so, and I want you to notice that if they say f of a evaluate the function at some letter, we'll just plug in that letter for wherever you have an x. Alright? Okay, let's look at number 9. Now I worked number 9 because it looks a bit tricky, doesn't it? But it's actually quite simple. So we're evaluating the function at the value of 1/4. So we're going to plug in 1/4 wherever we see an x value. So we're going to see it here and here. Okay, that makes it pretty easy. That tells us exactly where to go. All right. There we go. Now, this is really simple because you can just plug this in on your calculator and it'll give you the answer. But let's go ahead and work it out. We know that we've got the order of operations now, PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And I see some parentheses, my 1/4 there. And then the next step, of course, is exponent, so I'm going to square that 1/4. And so I'm going to get 1/4 squared. Well, what is that? 1/16. Okay, so I have 4 times 1/16. Okay, and then minus 4 times 1/4. Well, 4 times 1/4. Let's think about it. If you think about it in terms of money, a quarter is exactly 1/4 of a dollar, right? Well, if I have 4 quarters, so 4 quarters, all right, how much do I have? Well, that leaves me with $1. Okay, so this is actually what happens. I'm left with 1. Okay, pretty good. All right, so let's say then minus 1 minus 1. Okay, now I've got some multiplication here. 4 times 1/16. Well, that's 4/16 minus 1 minus 1, which of course I can reduce to 1/4. 1/4 minus, and in this case, right here, what do I have? Negative 2. 1/4 minus 2. Okay. Well, that's fairly straightforward now. 2, I can represent it as a fraction. If I multiply it by a common denominator, in this case 4/4, okay, well, that gives me then what? 1/4 minus 8/4. Alright? 1/4 minus 8/4, which is what? Negative 7/4. My final answer. Okay? So this is evaluating a function, and of course, like I said, evaluate, just a fancy word for saying plug it in.